If you're looking for a fantasy RPG that gives you really detailed outcomes without slowing your game down to a crawl, creates grounded and skill-focused characters who pursue meaningful goals, features gritty, tactical, and decisive combats, presents social challenges as dangerous as any sword fight, makes travel feel epic and immersive, puts the mystery back in Magic, and synthesizes the coolest features of dozens of systems, both old school and new, then this is the role-playing game for you. Greetings, friends. I'm Trevor DeVal, the creator of the Broken Empires role-playing game, longtime player and GM of over 40 years experience, and host of the Me, Myself, and I RPG YouTube channel. I started running games over 4 decades ago, and in that time, I've run easily over 50 different systems. There were so many things about all those games that I just loved. The Broken Empires is my opportunity to take all those things and make them all work together in one cohesive rule set. Pretty excited about it, so settle in and let's talk about some details together. Let's start with the core engine. It's called the success level system. This is a percentile dice game where you roll your skill or under on a D100 to succeed. But it's also a blackjack system. You want to roll under, but high. Now why? Because the tens die of your roll counts as your success level. In this game, the idea is to get as many success levels as possible. The more you get, the better you do. Success levels are attained by rolling skills, the building blocks of every character. There are no stats or classes or levels. Everything in this game is skill-based, and you're free to develop those skills however you want. But of course, your character is made up of more than just skills. There's personality traits, talents, expertise, weapons, piece armor, supply dice, lethality levels, toughness, resolve, and more. And we've made character generation fun and collaborative. One of the things my players love the most is rolling your life events, where you get to tailor your origin, link it to the other player characters, and set your character's goals. And speaking of goals, goals are huge. In this game, the only way to attain experience points and improve your character is by pursuing their goals. The intention is that goals are about something meaningful to the character. Now, whatever that is of course up to you and to your GM. So how does the game play exactly? Well, adventurers in the Broken Empires will face challenges across 4 different conflict arenas, as I call them, where their skills will literally be put to the test. The first one is travel. Now, I love travel in a game. Getting there is literally half the fun. Travel in the Broken Empires is all about experiencing dangers and or opportunities along the way to your destination. A traveling group will have a guide, a quartermaster, and a scout, each rolling skills vital to the journey's success, like track, survival, and perception. Now, travel requires tough choices and skill rolls to match. What route do you take? What dangerous areas are you willing to brave in order to save time? How will you spend precious common lore favor to increase your skill roll chances? And will your endurance rolls overcome the imminent fatigue of the road? But there's also opportunities on the road as well as dangers. Will you gain information about the destination along the way? Will you discover hidden treasures or wealth? Will you gain entry to a place of respite to recover from wounds or fatigue? Working together, the group can gain all kinds of advantages if they play their cards right and gain enough success levels in the encounter. Well, what would a game be without combat? Combat is dangerous. Now, it's not always lethal, but fights do tend to end quickly. Killing your foe isn't the only way to win. Incapacitating your foe, which is actually the most common result, or even compelling their surrender works just as well. Now, it's a round-by-round initiative system. There's attack and defense rolls. The quality of the attack is mitigated by the quality of the defense. Each attack roll packs a lot of information into it. It tells you if you hit, where you hit, how much damage your hit does, and what kind of maneuvers you can perform because of the hit. Your attack roll success levels can be used to perform special combat maneuvers, but they're chosen after the roll. A better roll gives more opportunities to knock your enemy prone, disarm them, circumvent their shield, sunder their armor, and many more. Combat in this game doesn't rely on a grid or hex map. Instead, zones differentiate combat areas, and each zone might have descriptors like ruined walls, sucking mud pits, or raging fires that can let the players get a tactical bonus over their enemy. Armor protects individual hit locations and reduces incoming damage. Crucially, there's no hit points. Each wound has a decisive and immediate effect and can be subject to infection. When you're wounded, you roll a wound die against the value of your current wounds. Failure could mean incapacitation of that body part. And if the wounds are bad enough, you might have to roll the death die to avoid lethal consequences. In short, combat moves quickly, but gives you that precious detail that really paints the picture. You didn't just hit the orc for 5 hit points. No. You got around his shield and slashed his left knee, knocking him prone. Brute force isn't the only way to win a conflict. The social encounter system works best when dealing with NPCs that are important to the character's goals. I mean, you don't need to use this kind of system when ordering a drink from the innkeeper, but you should definitely use it when you're on trial for a murder you didn't commit. The rules use a mix of player choice and character skill. The player roleplays the moment, which triggers a specific skill roll. If the player's trying to get past a gate guard and he says, hey buddy, we're all friends here, maybe just let us have a little peek inside, yeah? Well, that might trigger a persuade skill test. Whereas if he says, walk away, worm, before we pulverize you, well, that would trigger the intimidate skill and probably a fight on a failure. Each successful skill roll will generate success levels, and the player's goal is to accumulate as many success levels as they can before the tolerance runs out. The more success levels they get, the better the outcome. NPCs have a tolerance value. This is the number of times the PCs can fail before a timer die starts rolling, which is a ticking clock that creates a sense of urgency. Do we continue to press our luck, looking for more successes, knowing that the clock is running, and every new attempt could be our last? I gotta tell you, this system has created some of the most satisfying and tense role-playing moments in my whole 40-year history of running games. I love it, and I think you will too. Magic. Well, magic isn't just shooting fire from your fingertips. Reality is woven into a great tapestry, the weave. And magic users, or spell weavers as they're known, grasp threads of that tapestry and bind them into patterns favorable to themselves. But reality fights back against such intrusions and causes weave reactions, dangerous magical side effects from uncontrolled magic. The ideal spell doesn't attract the weave's attention at all, but that's easier said than done, and invariably, a spell weaver will have to spend precious resolve points to ensure that the spell works as intended. This all encourages and rewards the subtle use of magic. The more ostentatious the spell effect, the more dangerous it is to cast. Every magical effect is crafted in the moment, whose effects are negotiated between player and GM using these rules as a guide. Magic skills are represented by binds and strands, ways to manipulate reality. Binds are verbs, strands are nouns. So for example, if I want to magically charm someone, it might be control and thought. If I want to hurl a fireball, that might be conjure and fire. Magnitude, on a scale of 0 to 4, is how offensive to reality the spell is and determines the severity of the weave reaction. Magnitude 0 would be an effect almost indistinguishable from happenstance, whereas magnitude 4 would be something completely impossible in nature. And what are the weave reactions? Well, they could cause your spell to affect unintended targets, or to make you weary, to have the magic fly wildly out of control, or make you suffer other perilous effects. Now, priests, or the Godbound as they're known in the Broken Empires, use divine magic, which is similar to the weave, but the rules encourage clerics to really roleplay as religious representatives of their god. Their piety fuels their powers, and it goes up and down based on how devoted the cleric is to their god's tenets. But their piety score is hidden from them, so they're always unsure of where exactly they stand with their god. Performing and role-playing acts of religious service is the best way to ensure high piety and that your clerics actually act like clerics. In addition, there are rules for rituals, the really powerful and costly magic, rules for alchemy, blood magic, summoning, enchantments, and more. This game is a boutique product that I want all of us to be proud to own. To that end, I'm insisting on the highest quality materials and craftsmanship to make this thing. We're using real human artists, talented map makers, painters, and illustrators from all over the world, including Spain, Portugal, Canada, and Scotland, to bring the Broken Empires to life in full, vivid color. Now, I love a good hardback game book, and so that is what I'm going to give to you. I've got great designers, editors, and rules consultants to make sure we bring you the very best version of the game we can. And we're working with the largest, most established printers, manufacturers, and fulfillment shops in the industry to make sure the game arrives in your hands on time and in pristine condition. All the things in the Kickstarter are simply top-notch and designed to last for years, and of course, to look great on your gaming table. There's the core rulebook, the leather-bound, iridescent foil-stamped premium rulebook, the starter set with the starter adventure The Witches of Grimdale, pre-gen characters, terrain maps, condition tokens, custom dice, and a full-scale map of the world of the Broken Empires. And for for the die-hard me, myself, and die fans, the products are filled with Easter eggs that you will be sure to recognize. We've planned all kinds of amazing stretch goals, including expansion adventures, more beasts and monsters to supplement the bestiary in the book, a Spellweaver's Compendium and other books and tools to flesh out the world, new races, new villains, upgraded metal dice, a naval combat supplement, a Broken Empire's dice tray, and some surprises that you'll just have to back the product to see. I couldn't be more excited to bring the Broken Empires to you. It has been a lifelong dream of mine to create this game, over 40 years in the making. And I couldn't do it without you. So join us in the Kickstarter today and come experience what Sim-lite is all about. As always, thanks for watching and thank you for your support. And I will see you in the Broken Empires, where the dice always tell the story.